It's time for the Frangie Show on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
You know what today's new drug is? A ball yard, Carlyon. Boy, it's a good day. Frank Frangie,
Yes,
Hays Carlyon, JJ LaSelva with you. This is a happy Wednesday. I promise you that. Our Wednesday's brought to you by our friends at Ricketts Electric, and I know Zach Ricketts and company are big Jaguar fans. They go to all those games. So it is we are happy. It went the way pretty much we all thought it would go. It's a happy day. We are loaded up with guests of significance for you today. I'll set the scene in just a minute. But a quick overview. We all watched it last night. We've got a lot to share about folks with whom we spoke today. But what a good day. What an amazingly good day for our city.
You can't underplay it. It's gargantuan. I mean, this is not. It's one thing for it to be a sports thing, but this extends way beyond that. This is just a phenomenal day in the city's history, and it allows us to keep the momentum going and to become something of greater consequence. And you know, we're both from here. That's what we want. You know, that I think that feeling is shared among the citizens here for the most part. And again, just outstanding work by all parties. And I mean, it's been emotional. Like the last 24 hours for me. I mean, there have been moments where I think about, you know, my kids are getting ready to turn 16 and 14 this summer. And, you know, who knows if they'll end up, you know, what they'll be or anything like that. But it's cool that, you know, they're going to be able to attend Jag games if they want to, and they're late 40s.
Yeah, it was an emotional moment for me, too. We are from here, and it's an emotional time, and we've got a lot to do. Later on, we're going to hear your one-on-two interviews with, at one point, Mayor Donna Deegan and Shad Khan, and then at another point with Mark Lamping and Mike Weinstein. You had private meetings with both of them, and I'm excited. We'll hear that in the 5 o'clock hour, and we certainly are looking forward to that. Another guy from here is my friend Ron Salem, the city council president that had so much to do with this. JJ fired up for us.
Let's ring up another guest on the All-Pro Roofing phone line.
City council president Ron Salem joins us now, another Jacksonville guy. And Ron, welcome to the program. And Hays and I were just talking about how it's sort of an emotional time for us Jacksonville guys. I got to believe it is for you as well.
Absolutely, Frank. Part of it last night was just relief because of the schedule that we had and all the pieces that had to come together for us to get the vote last night. But reflecting on it today, just excited that we've got the Jags here for 30 more years.
I want to get into the particulars of how you guys went through it on the council in a minute. But before I do, what does it mean to you as a Jacksonville guy knowing that this is now done and that all the banter about what's going to happen with the Jaguars is over? What does it mean to you as a Jacksonville guy knowing that we're here now?
Well, Frank, it means a lot because I was there in '93 when they first came, and I think I've told you this story. I met with Roger Goodell on a Monday night football game in the fall. I got a call from Mark Lamping and said, "Can you come in to meet with Mr. Goodell? He'd like to kind of size you up." And I met with him, and he said to me, "These guys," and it was Shad and Mark, "tell me you can get this done." And I said, "You get me a deal within 60 days of my term, and I will get it passed." Well, and we ended up having 3 weeks or 21 days to get it passed. So, but we still got it done.
For people that follow this, if you don't follow it, the Jags negotiate with the administration, Mayor Deegan's administration. They came to an agreement and then presented it to City Council. Ron is the president of City Council. There's 19 members of council. It needed at least 10 votes. It got 14 out of the 15 voters. So it passed very easily. Ron, take us through the process from the minute you got it a month or two ago. How many meetings, how many committee meetings? I know Michael Hugh was your negotiator that represented the council. Take us through the process a little bit and how the whole thing works.
Well, Frank, a normal bill that may be just a zoning change or whatever is a 6-week cycle. It goes through a 6-week process on the council. This particular piece of legislation we did in 3 weeks, and obviously is a mammoth piece of legislation. So we had to accelerate some of the what we call readings of the bill. We had to accelerate a public hearing, which normally is in a council meeting we held on a Monday night. the council auditors, who would normally have a week or two to review these documents, we pushed them to review them over 2 or 3 days in order to move the process, because there were 9 agreements, and they cooperated and worked weekends, evenings, holidays, in order to get every question answered. It was my commitment with my colleagues that we will get every question answered, and if we don't have every question answered, we will not vote on it. And we were able to get it to the finish line last night.
When you were first presented with it, excuse me, from Mayor Deegan and her team, when you were first presented with it, and we'll get to the community benefits in a moment. Obviously, that was the sticking point, and Councilman White, the future Council President White, put forward a bill that kind of helped us thing get through. We'll get to that in a minute. But when you first saw the whole deal as a council, were you confident? You knew you had a short time frame. You knew your term was, to the point you made to Roger Goodell, your term was coming to an end. What did you think at the very outset of this thing, Ron?
I was cautiously optimistic, because I went to our legislative services team and I said, I want to vote on this June 25th. Today is June 7th. Tell me what we need to do legislatively, hearings, readings, etc., so we could vote on it, and we backed it up to that point. And they were masterful in guiding me through this process. And some of my colleagues were very skeptical that we could get it done, but we were able to pull it through, and I thank them. And obviously, Mark Lamping came to me and said, I'm available to meet with any council member anytime, and he did that. He was over on our floor constantly, meeting with council members whenever they needed help, and we got it done.
Yeah, and Mark's very good at that. You were exactly right about that. The vote was 14-1. Councilman Gay voted against. Councilman Freeman and Councilman Carrico abstained. 2 councilmen, Councilman Pittman and Councilman Diamond, weren't available to vote, but it was 14-1. So it was almost unanimous. During your conversation in those 18 days, was there a lot of pushback? Did you expect it to be almost this close to unanimous by the time you got there?
I felt like, having reviewed the deal several weeks ago, the basics of it, I thought it was a pretty fair deal. I had, through Michael Hugh, we were very familiar with what other cities had done, particularly a city like Buffalo.
Right.
So we were familiar with it. It was in that framework of other deals, probably even a little better than some other cities in terms of the percentages the city would pay. And I felt like that if we could educate everybody on it and get them up to speed, so to speak, with meetings with the Jaguars or Mike Weinstein or both, that we could get it done.
So it gets us to the community benefits agreement. That was essentially taken out, although parts of it stayed in. The $56 million that'll affect the downtown parks remain in. Explain to me the rest of it, because I know there's going to be meetings later on in July to possibly put some of that back in. Take me through the process, why it came out, the parts that did, and what that means now, Ron. Okay,
Frank, I'll try to explain it as best I can. First of all, the Jaguars have provided $100 million in the CBA. We have that money, okay? I mean, that money is committed. That $100 million is $10 million more than any other CBA that's ever been offered by a team to a city. Buffalo got $90 million in their CBA. We had, as you probably know, there was $150 million city dollars in it. There were some, including myself, that didn't feel like that we had enough time to evaluate the whole $150 million in a short period of time. And keep in mind, the $80 million that's going to countywide efforts and the out east doesn't even start until the 26-27 year, October 1 of 26. So there is no money in this CBA going to any of these things until October 1 of 26.
Gotcha.
The other part that complicated this, Frank, we wanted as many of our members to vote on this. It was important to me, such a historic piece of legislation, to try to get every member who might have a conflict do their job to vote. And we thought by carving out part of this bill, which we did, that everybody could vote. As we got closer, we found out there were still some conflicts. So the part that we included is $56 million for the 3 parks along the river and to renovate the practice facility in the stadium, which now the city controls, where the Jaguars used to practice when they had inclement weather. So those 4 entities, those dollars were passed as a part of this, which means we got another $18 million from the Jags. So the total from the Jags today that they have committed is $118 million, which is a substantial sum of money. And I'm hoping through the meetings through the rest of the summer that we can get the rest of the Jaguar $50 million through this process.
Yeah, the Jags have committed, if I understand it, have agreed to commit $1 for every 3 the city puts in, up to the $150 million. So that was my next question. Mayor Deegan today, who was very excited, and as she should have been because it's a very exciting day for all of us, is hopeful that at least a lot of those other parts can be put back in. Maybe not exactly as they were. Ron, are you confident that a lot of what was in or some of what was in that was taken out will be put back in before this thing goes to bed?
I think I'm going to do everything I can to get the Jaguars the other $50 million, and we've already gotten a portion of that. The other part of this is we've got to make sure we can afford it, Frank.
Right.
And I know people don't like to hear that, but we have a lot of financial challenges in this city going forward, and we just have to make sure that we can afford that. And Council President White just announced his committee assignments, and I'll be chairman of the Finance Committee next year. And so I'll have a big role in all this, and I want to do everything I can, particularly to help the Out East area. That's the area of all the things in this CBA that has hit my heart, and I really want to do everything I can to help that particular community.
And I know you guys all will. Council President Ron Salem, we've been friends a long time, Ron. I know how excited you are about this, and you know how excited I am about it. Congratulations to you, to the administration, to the Jaguars on really a glorious and historic day, and thanks for spending some time, man. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, Frank.
All right, Ron Salem, the City Council President. The vote was 14-1. Councilman Mike Gay voted no. Excuse me, I'm still getting over this thing about that I wouldn't admit to a couple days ago. Councilman Terrence Freeman, Councilman Kevin Carrico had to abstain based on their job, their main jobs. Councilman Rory Diamond, Councilman Jacoby Pittman weren't available to vote, but of the 17 that voted, 2 abstained, 14 voted yes, 1 voted no. So it went very comfortably. And you can hear from Ron Salem right there, Hays, in that interview, that they are hopeful that all the stuff Mayor Deegan, or much of the stuff Mayor Deegan had in there, a lot of money to parks, a lot of money to Out East, a lot of money to affect infrastructure and homelessness and some of the things that have affected our city in a negative way. I think a lot of that's going back in. I think if you listen to Council President Salem right there, I think what Ron's saying is we don't necessarily not want it in there. We may want to make some recommendations on exactly where it goes and how we put it in there and where do we get the funding to do it. But I guess what I'm saying is I think at the end of the day, most of the stuff that was in that CBA, the $300 million, $150 from the Jags, $150 from the city, will probably be in there at the end of the day.
Yeah, well done, and I would agree. I think that, Mark Lamping said it best a year or so ago when I think they first started the town halls, the introductory town halls. And, his point was if all we do out of this is build a football stadium, we will have missed a big opportunity. And I think everybody has been very cognizant of that. And I would agree. I would expect that for the good of the city that this will end up happening.
And I want to say this. I coughed my way through the first part of the show. Apologies.
You seem like you're doing much better.
Yeah, I feel fine. I feel fine. I'm less Larry King today. I do feel this, though, Hays, and I'm serious about this. Without sounding too, too Pollyanna here, this really was a really good effort by a lot of folks. I mean, Mayor Deegan's administration and Mayor Curry's administration before her really did work hard so we could all get to yes. I think Mayor Deegan said, I think Donna said today at the meeting, we were all trying to get to a yes. I think that everybody on the same page. They really did, and they worked really hard. My friend Mark Lamping, who I've said all along is the star of this thing, is he had the experience of Ballpark Village in St. Louis and MetLife Stadium in the New York area, so he knew he was going to have to answer a lot of questions. He knew there'd be pushback. He knew there'd be some pushback that people never hear about. There'd be some very public pushback that everybody hears about, and you were going to have to deal with it. One thing Ron Salem said a moment ago is that Mark told him that every time, he said, anytime one of your councilmen need to talk, I'll be there. And he said Mark spent a lot of time on that floor visiting with councilmen. Well, I can tell you, I know a lot of councilmen. I talked to a lot of the councilmen. And if I had a dime for every councilman that told me, well, Mark Lamping and Paul Hardin just left my office. I'm telling you, if I can't, I'm not going to tell you who they are, but the amount of councilmen that say, hey, what do you do? Well, Mark Lamping and Paul Hardin just left my office. I can promise you he was there and they were there to answer those questions every time. It happened over and over with people that I know. So congratulations to them. Thank you to, I wanted you to hear Ron Salem, the council. Nobody has really spoke publicly much for the council. So I wanted you to hear Ron speak for the council where they were in a very reasonable position, I think. And certainly, and I can tell, I saw the enthusiasm in Donna's face today that she's confident that whereas it didn't all go in as planned, and I'll be honest, I was kind of hoping it would. But now that I talked to many council people, I think this isn't obstructionism, which is what I thought it might be. You know, sometimes, Hays, in politics, you get a Republican mayor and a bunch of Democrats on the council, or a Democrat mayor and a bunch of Republicans on the council, and they battle politically because, by God, you weren't the party, and I backed the other candidate. I don't think that's what's at play here. I think the council that pushed back a little bit on the CBA, and even Mike Gay, who said no to it. I was surprised anybody would say no to this deal because I think it's a really good deal for the city. But I don't think it's a political play. I think Councilman Gay thought like there wasn't enough time to digest it. That's what he was quoted. I think he released a statement speaking to that. So my point is, I don't think this was a lot of political headbanging. I think this was council I think there's a lot of people, regardless of whether you're right or left, red or blue, regardless of what your political background is, I think there's a lot of people that wanted to get it right. We couldn't lose the Jaguars. It means too much, man. It means too much to the city, to the self-esteem of this city, to the identity of this city, to the enjoyment and entertainment value of who we are. Whether you go to the games or not, you probably have a Jaguar hat somewhere in your closet. You do. Somewhere along, you've probably seen a game. You've been at a dinner party where people were talking about, can you believe that interception in the fourth quarter? Anybody listening to me today has been in that situation. There's too many people that have. There's too many people that are connected to it. I can tell you, I know people that aren't, that my daughter is not a sports fan at all. You can't be less of a sports fan than my daughter is. It's amazing how sports truly missed her being my daughter. She just has no interest in it. But she'd have been devastated if the Jaguars left, because part of it's her dad calls the games, but she knows Jacksonville is the city where the Jags are. She was born in 92. By the time she was 3 or 4 years old, we were having games. And so I really believe that. And I believe everybody was on the same page here. I believe everybody wanted to make this happen. And it's just a glorious day. I'm like you. I was emotional last night. We left the show at 6. I had one errand to run, but I'm checking Twitter. I don't want to I don't want to pull up. You can watch the council meeting live on your phone, but I can't do it when I'm driving. Okay. Right. A, it's against the law. B, so the minute I get home, I'm walking inside, pulling it up on my phone. I'm pulling it up on my phone, and only till I can get my computer out and my iPad. And so Suzanne sees me. I got one hand the phone and I'm watching it. And about that time when I got home is about when the vote came in. And so I was emotional and excited and ecstatic, and we have enough people lashing out at all the national detractors, but to hell with the national detractors. I haven't seen anybody come out and say, well, I was wrong. I'm still waiting for whether it's Florio or La Canfora or whoever say I was wrong. I haven't seen a lot of I was wrong. We were wrong.
Right.
I mean, you're wrong. You're wrong. I mean, you lost the game. You lost. This team won. You lost. That's what happened.
Florio's already writing stories about how the other NFL owners may have a problem with the deal.
Yeah, well, go ahead. Go. Sure. Good luck. Good luck. Good luck, Mike. Mike, good luck when that. Okay. Well, when it goes through 32 zip in October, then what's the next? What's the follow up then? So a glorious, magical time for Jackson.
Well, and I think the other thing that is really extraordinary about this is the legacy that it leaves for negotiations decades from now. What Mayor Deegan, what Shad Khan, Mark Lamping, the Jaguars, Mike Weinstein, what they have been able to accomplish is they have shown you can do something this mammoth and do it in a professional, cooperative, cordial manner. And, we'll age out. We're not going to be here in 30 years to tell the next story of the next stadium renovation. But we're certainly going to talk about it until our, whatever our final show is. And there are young reporters. There were young reporters in the building today that, hopefully will still be covering this team. And it's important for that message to never get lost. The legacy, not just of what it's going to produce in terms of the stadium of the future and an iconic landmark for this city, but also we can never lose sight of the fact of how they went about their business with this. And hopefully it will be something that is passed down. And when we get 30 years from now, and it's a whole new crop of decision makers, it will not be lost on how well and orchestrated this was on both sides. And it's a win today, and hopefully it'll be a win in 30 years. Hopefully this will always be a lesson for us in the city that big things can get done, and they can get done in a respectful and friendly manner.
Yeah, and I thank you to Mayors Curry and Mayor Deegan and the mayors before them. Thank you to Ron Salem and his council people. And thank you to Shad Khan, who's invested $1.3 billion in our city. That's a fact. Thank you, Shad, a guy from the Midwest, the guy that grew up or certainly went to college in the Midwest, came to our country, went to the University of Illinois, was close to people in the Midwest, built his empire there, but bought a team from Wayne Weaver in Jacksonville. And Wayne Weaver said, what's important to me is that this team stays in Jacksonville. And Shad Khan said to him, we'll make that happen. And kept his word. Anybody that wants to say anything in our city, out of our city, he kept his word. Don't ever forget that. And this is proof that he kept his word. More in a moment. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Big moment. Play-by-play is full of plot twists.
Did that just happen?
And high-octane drama.
And this game is tied.
Experience the most play-by-play sports on 1010XL.
Every season is Chevy truck season at Nimnick Chevrolet. And there's no better time to do what you do best than a Chevy Silverado. Now at Nimnick, you can save up to $12,000 off a new Silverado. Or, well-qualified buyers can get rates as low as 1.9% financing on all new Silverado 1500 models. And with the largest inventory on the ground, outstanding cash incentives, and the best price guarantee, your perfect truck is waiting for you at Nimnick Chevrolet. It all starts with a Chevy truck. Remember, Nimnick will always give you top dollar on your trade. So shop online 24/7 at nimnickchevy.com or visit the dealership located at the corner of Park Street and Cassett. You want a great truck? Then you want a Silverado from Nimnick. That's Nimnick Chevrolet. Visit them today. Nimnick Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue at Park. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
This is Richard Miller with your Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles Update. Finding that perfect gift for the sports fan in your life can sometimes be a tad stressful. At Showtime, we can assist you in landing a great gift. Or, if you prefer an easier option, we have our Showtime gift cards, good for any amount. It's showtime. Sports cards and collectibles. Update your collection.
Frank Frangie here for South State Bank. Look, I depend on South State for so many things: personal accounts, small business banking, and banking for our nonprofit. South State Bank can help you reach all your financial goals too, whether you're just starting out or focused on financial planning. South State offers convenience with their online and mobile banking. You should check out South State Bank, as they were recently recognized by Forbes as one of America's best banks. That's South State, banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Hey, it's Matt Hays, and I know you've heard this before. Why is it so hot in this house? Well, summer's here on the First Coast, and those soaring temperatures can do a number on your AC. And when they break down, we need them repaired in hours, not days. This is where the good folks at Fenwick Home Services have you covered. Fenwick offers same-day 24/7 service, and if you need a new AC because yours is on its last leg or already broken, Fenwick has next-day installation. That's right, next day, and can keep your family cool and comfortable all year long. Online at FenwickHomeservices.com.
Smooth sailing and a smooth taste of Vida de Luis, an all-natural tequila made with volcanic spring water and aerated to provide a smoother finish. Go to VidaDeLuis.com and set a course for smooth living today.
After consulting with several orthopedic specialists about my constant knee pain, I chose Southeast Orthopedic Specialist and Dr. Chris Swanson to handle my surgery. Their professionalism let me know this team was the one for me. The surgery was very successful, and if I ever have a future need, I'll continue to trust Southeast Orthopedic Specialists to take care of me.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
He's not Pistol Pete, he's Pete Prisco.
Been on the wanted list almost 20 years.
CBS Sports senior NFL writer Pete Prisco joins the Frangie Show Friday afternoons on 1010XL. Brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles.
What's the weekend in sports look like? I'm Dan Hicken, and I'll give you my take on the Weekend with Dan. Find it on YouTube and Facebook. Weekend with Dan, brought to you by Stone Core. We do outdoors better.
Now those sound like some well-oiled machines. B&B Oil and Fuel works hard at being the most responsive, fast-moving, service-driven distributor of oil and fuels in our market. Time is money. You need fuel and lubricants to keep your business moving. You also need a partner who can move as fast as you do. We pride ourselves on our responsiveness to both the normal day-to-day and any emergency need that may come up. Only the best with B&B Oil and Fuel. Online at bb-oil.com.
Ever buy a gym membership but don't ever use it? Who hasn't? ET here, sports fans, and instead, I send plants and flowers to people I love from Kuhn Flowers, home of the beautiful window display on Beach Boulevard. Now that's money well spent. Kuhn Flowers.
Hey, sports fans, this is Hays Carlyon from MyBookie. Look, we've all been there before. A weekend trip to the casino canceled because real life came calling. Well, MyBookie's new and improved online casino is here to change the game. Dive into a truly realistic casino experience featuring the latest in slots, progressive jackpots, and live dealer action, all from the comfort of your own home. I love the live casino. The roulette is awesome. It's so easy and so much fun. Just go to MyBookie and click Live Casino at the top. You'll find live dealers ready to deal or spin just like you're at the casino. The MyBookie Casino provides a Las Vegas experience when the action is in your hands. Start at MyBookie today with a generous sign-up bonus using promo code 1010XL, and a revamped loyalty program ensures a host of exclusive VIP perks. So sign up and hit the casino with promo code 1010XL. The more you play, the more you win. Only with MyBookie.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Multi-unit hair grafting is now available at IHRS and can give you 3 times more hair in one procedure over a traditional hair transplant.
Multi-unit hair grafting gave me more hair in one procedure and within my budget.
You can grow your hair back with this exclusive new procedure. Call for a free evaluation. Call IHRS 904-777-IHRS 777-IHRS 777-4477.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Ricketts Electric Wednesday on The Frangie Show. Ricketts Electric, the power connection you can trust.
Call my buddy Zach Ricketts and all the folks at Ricketts Electric. 904-320-5960. Saw Zach this week. He's out doing more work at our ballpark. He's probably tired of hearing from me. I think Zach is. Zach and his dad, David, and their crew are out there doing a lot of work. So thank you, Zach. But I mean, he's a great electrician. Really good. A really smart guy. And,
great guy.
And really helpful, too. I mean, that's the electrician you need to know. 904-320-5960. That is the number, Ricketts Electric. And it's the Ricketts Electric Wednesday. Zach's happy because he's a big Jaguar fan. I promise you that. He travels with them some. So
he was leaving. Remember, he went to the concert in Nashville.
That's
and he was telling us he was leaving Duval stickers on Nissan,
which is freaking perfect, isn't it? So, boy, Zach. A big day today in Jacksonville. What is your take on the community benefits thing? Do you have a take on the whole? Apart from we all have the same take on the stadium. People in our industry, I would suggest. What's your take on the CBA?
I think it's important because, again, you're not normally going to come up with something organically like this that is of this scale. So a stadium renovation is the perfect venue in which to do it. And so I think it makes a ton of sense. I absolutely support it. And I think it would be a shame if it doesn't go through. I mean, it's you have this great resource, and it's a good investment.
My take on it is, I don't think the council was opposed to the city putting in $150 million into a CBA and the Jags match it because they didn't want to spend money in Jacksonville. They didn't want to help out east in some of the areas that need it. I think where the council as a whole, and there's a bunch of different councilmen, by the way, but I think where the council as a whole was, Hays, was the Jags already given us $100 million. Now it's $118 million. Let's make sure we've got the other $150 because we have pension to deal with and this stadium deal to deal with. Let's make sure we've got the money. And secondly, let's make sure we take a long look at where we think it should be divvied up. It may wind up divvied up right with where the administration wants it divvied up. But let's take a long look and make sure we're getting – and that really is my take on it. I do. I think everyone's on the same page in this thing. I really do. Even Councilman Gay, who I was surprised somebody, Mike Gay, voted against it. But he released a statement that said and apparently he's involved in construction in some capacity. I don't know. But he said he didn't want his company involved so he could vote. In other words, so he didn't have to abstain. And so he wanted to vote no. And, again, he said he just wanted to learn more about it. But, again, I'm glad he didn't win. I'm glad there weren't very many that said that.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really poor decision.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, what if 11 others had decided, well, I'm going to do this too?
Or 10 others, right?
10 others. And, so it's...
Yeah, so, but the bottom line is, I think everyone's heart was in the right place. We won. The battle's over. We move along, and I'm certainly excited about where I think this thing is headed. I'm excited about the stadium of the future. I'm excited about... there was an energy today, wasn't there? I mean, when we were sitting there and we had an opportunity in a press conference, and as the hours go on, you'll get to see and hear the stuff that came out of that presser today, and then the sidebar get-togethers afterwards, one of which involved you, and we'll have those for you in the 5 o'clock hour. But there was an energy in that room today. There wasn't there. There was a the
none of us have really, other than a few people that that obviously were here when the team when we were awarded the franchise.
Right.
I mean, for many of us, it's the first time you've covered a story like this.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And something. Well, that's right. Something like this, meaning something that sets the stage for 3 decades. I mean, that's the thing. This is 3 decades. If you're 25. You can't even imagine being 55.
Right.
But that's how old you'll be when we have to worry about this again, if ever again.
Right.
I mean, so that's the beauty of it. I mean, I promise you, when I was 25, I thought 55 were the oldest people in the history of the world.
Absolutely.
I didn't know if they could walk. Okay.
Right.
They were decrepit.
Right.
And so that's how many, and by the way, a generation is determined by 20 years, give or take.
Right.
This is a generation and a half.
Yes.
Before it comes into play.
And Jacksonville people are very street smart people, and I think all of us had there was a little there's always been a little bit of a voice in your head saying, can we really hold on to this thing? Are we ever going to lose it? And this puts that doubt aside. Now, obviously, as we've gotten to know Shad Khan, obviously you never had to doubt it with Wayne and Dolores Weaver. But when the team was getting sold, you didn't know. You didn't know what was going to happen. And, and Shad Khan did everything he could to establish trust, but that takes time. And, so I think the other part of it is, if you really care about the city and you care about the Jaguars being here, I guess I'll only speak for myself, but it feels like it's a shared feeling of, boy, what if they're right? What if this city offers the moon, or what if this happens, or what, and all of that is now put to bed. I think it's why we get so aggravated with the national writers that did end up getting it wrong, because it was hard to read stories like that and completely dismiss it. Now, it's been easier in the last 3 or 4 years because we've gotten to know Shad much better, and the Khan family and their intentions and how important making it work here is for them. But I would say, at least for me, from probably 2012 through 2015, yeah, there was some doubt as to whether we would be able to hold it. And now that's completely alleviated. Whatever, if you had even a sliver of doubt, now that has been completely removed.
I never allowed myself to ever doubt that the team would be here, whether that was because I was right or because I was naive, probably more the latter than the former. But I never went there. I had some doubt, could we ever get it right on the field? Sure. I've certainly had that. But I never doubted that the team would be here, because I trusted the inner soul of this city, and that this city and these wonderful people would ultimately elect the right officials who would make the right decisions in conjunction with a very committed owner and who's in a good place. And let me say this, too, as we wrap this segment, because we're going to come back with headlines, and you'll hear some of the interviews in the 5 o'clock hour. But I will say this, and Jaguar fan, listen to this closely. At least I hope you will. There are very few teams, I won't say very few, but there are not a lot of teams that can feel any better about their trajectory than this one. Let me tell you what's in your trajectory now. A beautiful new state-of-the-art stadium that's going to be the talk of the league. It's not going to be just another stadium. It's going to be the talk of the league in 4 years. An owner who, A's got a bunch of dough, one of the rich owners, and has proven free agency over and again, and with a Trevor contract, that he's willing to spend it. A coach who's won a Super Bowl. A general manager who's got a team to the Super Bowl. A quarterback for the ages. It was the first overall pick and looks to have all the tools. Got to get there. What in the world is missing? I mean, now you got to do it. None of this matters if they don't do it on the field. They still haven't had that 12-4 season in a while. Okay, they still haven't gone to an AFC Championship game in 7 years, and they've only been to 3 ever. But you see my point. The trajectory of this franchise, the roster, the all-world practice facility they now have, the all-world stadium they're going to have, a ridiculously rich owner who really cares about making it happen here and has shown that, a Super Bowl winning coach, a quarterback that has all the tools, a good roster, a pass rusher who's in his 20s who just had 17.5 sacks and is now signed up for the long haul. Hey, Hayes, everything you want in your trajectory, that doesn't mean all 22 positions are Pro Bowlers. I'm not saying that. But everything you could possibly want in your trajectory is in place.
There's a lot of teams that envy what the Jaguars have right now, without a doubt. I mean, a lot of that starts with the quarterback position, because if there's teams that certainly are looking or just drafted their guy and hope they're right. But you look at the alignment that this organization now has, and most teams have their stadium lined up. So, I mean, I don't know that most teams have that part figured out. But to have, to your point, to be launching a renovated stadium in the next 4 years, to have a quarterback who's 24 years old that just signed a massive extension that wants to retire a Jaguar, to have Josh Allen signed, to have Trayvon Walker coming on, to have the young nucleus of talent that they do have, and to have a Super Bowl winning head coach and a general manager that has the resume that Trent Baalke, was able to produce in San Francisco. Yeah, there is an awful lot to like, and that certainly hasn't always been the case. So, yeah, from an alignment standpoint, everything looks like it is set up for future success, and that's the expectation. I mean, they don't shy away from that. I mean, from ownership on down. I mean, the expectation is to win consistently and consistently be in the playoffs. That is the expectation, and that is now that the foundation is fully set and sealed, that will be the expectation now moving forward.
We'll take a break. Hays has headlines coming up. After that, at the top of the hour, you'll hear Hays' interviews with some of the key players in this whole scenario. But headlines are first. That's next. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Wonder what Rick Ballou would be doing if he wasn't on 1010XL?
I like sports. I could do something in sports. Like the general manager of a baseball team.
Rick Ballou.
Well, it doesn't even have to be the general manager. Maybe I could be like an announcer, like a color man.
Evenings on 1010XL.
This is Hays Carlyon for QC Kinetics. Are you not able to enjoy this summer as much as you want because of joint pain? This is the best time for being outdoors, but not if your knees, shoulders, back, or hips are hurting. Well, don't suffer any longer. Non-surgical joint pain relief is here at QC Kinetics. They have 2 great locations, Mandarin and Ponte Vedra Beach. Give them a call at 904-274-5522 for a free consultation. They can get you in. They have availabilities. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, lasting joint pain relief with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. QC Kinetics advanced treatments harness your own body's ability to restore and repair damaged joint tissue. Stop putting it off. Take action now and live your best life again. Again, 904-274-5522. That's the number you need to call for a free consultation and go see them, either in Mandarin or in Ponte Vedra Beach. That's QC Kinetics.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Summer starts now at Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet with our summer sale. It's not sink or swim. We have vehicles for every budget and every need, starting as low as $79.99, and you won't get burnt. We offer 20-year 200,000-mile protection on new and 7-year 100,000-mile protection on used. Plus, we can really cool things off with our 30-day exchange policy. Start the summer off the way you deserve it with our summer sale at Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville. We're here to wow you.
The saying goes, the grass is greener on the other side. Well, that is actually true if your neighbor installed artificial turf. Lauren Brooks here from my friends at Sunshine Turf, a family-owned local company that will take your backyard dreams and turn them into a reality. Caleb can design anything from putting greens to pet runs, and if you have a pool, you'll definitely love maintenance-free turf around it. Visit sunshineturf.info to get a free quote today. Sunshine Turf. That's sunshineturf.info.
Bolt City Heating and Air is here to keep you cool this summer. Anytime, any day, whenever you need fast, reliable air conditioning service. Their friendly technicians have fully stocked work vans, so they can get your AC done on site the same day. Rely on a family-owned Jacksonville-grown company this summer to keep your home cooling system working smarter, not harder. Experience the Bolt difference. Visit BoltCityAC.com to schedule your service appointment. BoltCityAC.com.
Attention real estate agents, loan officers, and mortgage professionals. Trust your real estate closings to the expertise of St. John's Title, LLC. As a board-certified attorney-owned and operated firm with years of experience, St. John's Title provides the utmost of precision and professionalism. With conveniently located offices and in-home remote closing options, our customer-first approach ensures a seamless process tailored to your timeline. Join our team of experts and 5-star testimonials from customers across the First Coast. Choose St. John's Title.
Are you 18 years or older, just got married, just got divorced, or have children? Listen up. Have you done your last will and estate planning? You have questions? Call Matt Hinson with the Hinson Law Firm. Reach him at 527-1700. Office is Jacksonville, Florida. And don't let the state decide your fate.
I'm Hacker, and Denny Thompson and I will navigate you through the Florida football offseason during the Gator Bites podcast, presented by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. New episodes drop every Friday. Get Gator Bites where you find podcasts.
Matt Hays here for Leonard Truck Outfitters. The Southeast's biggest truck accessory and trailer company is opening their newest location on Beach Boulevard. Truck accessories, trailers, or commercial uplifts, they've got you covered. From Real Truck, UWS, Weather Guard, carry-on trailers, and much more. Join us for our grand opening on June 28th, starting at noon. XL Primetime will be there live from 2 to 4 with special promotions and giveaways, even a free golf cart. That's June 28th. Don't forget about our other location on Blanding Boulevard.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
1010XL Weekly is out now. Mia here, and text the word weekly to subscribe to our new 1010XL newsletter and for a chance to win Jaguars and concert tickets. Get an inside look at local sports, trending players, station info, and chances to win prizes all year long.
Brian and Angela Wall here with Window World. By now, everyone has heard about saving money on their energy bills. There are all sorts of things you can do to cut energy costs, but most people don't think about their windows.
But Window World knows that the biggest energy loss in almost every home is the windows. There is more energy loss from old builder-grade windows than just about anything else in your home.
You can upgrade your heating and air, your appliances. That's good too. But before you do all that, upgrade your windows to Window World's energy-efficient windows.
Window World's windows are easy to clean, energy efficient, and have the best guarantee in the business.
Window World's slogan is simply the best for less, and we mean it. You get great American-made windows, and you get to keep more of your money when you buy from Window World. Need any more reasons to buy your windows from Window World? Call them today and set up your free in-home estimate, or go online to windowworldneflorida.com.
Window World, simply the best for less.
Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Gather round. It's Hays' Headlines, presented by Harrell & Harrell. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Hear all about it. Here's Hays Carlyon.
Welcome back to the Frangie Show. Frank Frangie, JJ LaSelva. I am Hays Carlyon. Thank you to our friends at Harrell & Harrell. Give them a call at 251-1111. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured, that is who you need to put your trust into. Harrell & Harrell, 251-1111. Frank, we got to lead it off with the stadium afterglow, don't we? We're still 24 hours removed, so I know we've talked a lot about it, but we'll continue to talk a lot about it because it is a glorious day for the city.
Yeah, it really is. It's the biggest story around here in a long time. It's one that you kind of knew the ending, but even if you got first and goal on the 2, until you're in the end zone, you're not in the end zone. And we now are, and it's been a long process, and it makes for a glorious summer, no question about it.
Getting it to college sports, the Gators finished 4th in the Learfield Directors Cup. This is, goes on all academic and athletic year. Texas is number 1, followed by Stanford and Tennessee. Virginia was 5th, followed by Texas A&M, North Carolina, Michigan, Alabama, and UCLA rounding out the top 10. But Florida traditionally does very well in this, and that continues. Unbelievable athletic success for the Gators this year.
I'll tell you, I had the list on here too. I made a copy of the list too. Texas and Stanford are no surprise. I'm surprised Tennessee did that.
Yeah, we talked about it. They've really done a magnificent job.
He's a really good athletic director, Danny White. So they were 3rd. Florida always finishes very high, so they're 4th. That doesn't surprise me. Alabama surprised me.
Yeah.
You don't hear much about Alabama athletics other than football. But their basketball team was great.
Mm-hmm.
Went to the Final Four, and they Notre Dame being high doesn't surprise me. Florida State being high doesn't surprise me. LSU being in the top 13. Georgia surprised me, being as high as 16.
because you don't. I mean, this is six. I mean, top 20 is high now. There's a bunch of teams. So, but yeah, Texas, Stanford, Tennessee, Florida, Virginia. The top 5 didn't surprise me. Other than Tennessee, none of them surprised me.
It's also interesting. We know that realignment has everything to do with football, but I wonder if it's a feather in the cap of a Virginia that they finished 5th in this. They're not particularly great in football.
Yeah.
And I do think that's what's going to happen. But you hear, Virginia, North Carolina finished 7th. Don't have a tremendous football brand, but a bigger one than Virginia. So again, just something sort of to keep in mind when you hear, well, why would the SEC necessarily want North Carolina and Virginia? Geographically, it makes a ton of sense, but also very well-rounded athletic and academic institutions.
One of the reasons Stanford either wins it every year or they're second this year, they have a ton of sports.
Well,
I think North Carolina's got a ton of sports.
They've probably, since COVID, cut back, which is why they're not one.
Right.
They were one forever.
Right.
I mean, many years in a row.
They have more sports.
Oh, they had like women's water polo,
right,
and they'd win the national title, and no one else really has that outside of a few schools. So, I thought that was interesting that Texas was one, and I do wonder if that's post-pandemic in terms of sports being cut at Stanford. Getting it to the NBA, the New York Knicks trade with Brooklyn, landing forward Mikal Bridges for 5 first-round picks. The 27-year-old Bridges averaged 19.6 points per game last year. The Nets now have 16 first-round picks through 2031, including 4 and 25.
JJ, what about the Bridges deal? Did it? Because that was all over. That was all over the sports world yesterday.
I think just because it's a Knicks player. He's a nobody. He's going to do nothing for the Knicks. I mean, he averaged 17 points on the Nets. Somebody's got to score. It's going to do nothing for the Knicks.
Interesting. What about this? The Miami Heat extended Bam Adebayo 3 years, $166 million. Good deal for the Heat, JJ?
Yeah, he's a great player. Not like a crazy scorer, but he does everything else really good. A typical Miami Heat culture player. Great deal for him. Great deal for the Heat to lock him down.
And I'll tell you why I like him.
Yeah.
Rebounding still matters. Rebounding is not it's still an important factor. Big physical guys inside still matter. I'm with JJ. I think he's a really good player.
And that's a juicy extension, over $55 million a year. The NBA draft is tonight. I used to get so locked into the NBA draft, but now I
think it's 2 days.
It is 2 days.
And no one cares about the second
I know
round.
That was a dumb decision. They didn't need
Everyone tries to be like the NFL.
I know they didn't need to draw it out like that. But anyway, it is tonight. The Atlanta Hawks have the top pick, and it seems like it's kind of up in the air, which tends to happen when you've got a really bad draft. But it seems like it's still, even at 5 o'clock right now, it seems like it's somewhat up in the air as to who Atlanta will select with that top pick.
Yeah, where is Dalton Connect?
I saw somebody had him going 6th.
Yeah, he's top 10. I'm talking of the guys that I've watched play.
Reed Shepard is the guy that some believe might go as high as 2.
Didn't even start.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a guy that didn't even start. One of the reasons the draft has lost some interest is the top 2, 3, 4 guys you haven't heard of because they played in Australia or Europe or wherever.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why.
Let me give you the team that the number 1 overall pick right now, who's favored, played for. So his name is Zachary Rasaucher.
Right.
He played for J.L. Borg.
Right.
I'm not familiar with
that. They had
a
big year.
Yeah. And the guy who's supposed to go 3rd, Alexander Sarr, played for the Perth Wildcats, which I think Perth is in... Is it New Zealand or Australia? I'm not sure. Okay.
But
that's your point, though.
I still don't think J.L. Borg could beat UConn.
Hell no.
And again, it speaks to how hard it's going to be to continue to win the gold medal every summer games, because they'll just look at France. I mean, they've got Wemby, and now if this player is any good, so I just pulled
up a quick mock draft. First 2 guys are guys we've never heard of for those reasons. This has Shepard 3rd. A guy that did not start at Kentucky. Stephen Castle, the guard from UConn, 5th or 4th. Then a guy we haven't heard of, and then Connect 6th. So the 3 players in the top 6 that anybody here has ever seen play were a transfer to Tennessee from North Dakota, wherever the hell he came from. Stephen Castle, one of the many good players on UConn, and a guy that didn't start at Kentucky. Back in the day, the superstar who dunked to win the Final Four was the first pick. And then people paid attention to the draft because you knew the guy.
So Zach Edey is, would you say he was like the guy in college?
Without a doubt.
He's probably the most known player.
He'll get drafted, but
he's
probably,
like a mid-first.
Yeah, exactly. 15 to 20 range.
I saw the Lakers selecting him, I think 18th.
The UConn big guy's going to go ahead of him.
He will.
Klingon will go ahead.
Yeah, he's supposed to go number 2.
Yeah, he's going to go high.
Yeah. I've seen him kind of in different spots, but certainly in the top 7.
Yeah.
Getting it to college baseball, Jim Schlossnagle.
I was waiting for you to say that all day.
It's Schlossnagle.
Is leaving Texas A&M for Texas and is catching a lot of criticism, and fairly so, for basically talking down to a reporter who asked about his job status.
A classic.
Yeah, after they lost the national title to Tennessee.
Yeah, what happened was Schloss said when he was asked right after the game, he said, "It's selfish of you to ask this. I took the Texas A&M job so I wouldn't have to take another job." And a day later, he takes the Texas job. That's about as bad a look.
Yeah.
Now, he came out today and apologized and said it was right after the game, and I wasn't in the mood to talk about it, and I wish I'd handled it differently. All he needed to say, it's easy for me, I wasn't most of the time. All these coaches need to say is tonight's about our players, not about anything else.
Exactly,
and then you're fine. And
you don't have to be like Roy Williams and
correct.
admonish the lady.
Bonnie Bernstein, I thought the same thing. All you have to say is tonight's about our players. It's not appropriate to talk about anything else. You've answered the question.
Yeah.
So, but by the way, I will tell you, one of my really good buddies is a diehard TCU fan. Diehard. They're still ticked at him for leaving TCU to go to A&M.
Oh, wow.
I'm telling you, I know he's the biggest TCU fan I know, one of my golf buddies. He said he could never root for A&M in anything ever again because he's so mad at Schlossnagle for leaving TCU to go to A&M. And now he's left to go to Texas.
If I had a dime for everyone who hated Schlossnagle.
Yeah, right.
Getting it to women's soccer, star Alex Morgan will not be on the Team USA roster. The 34-year-old Morgan voiced her disappointment on social media. She has scored 123 career goals.
I don't know enough about soccer or her to know whether she should be on, but it does feel like the end of an era.
Yeah.
And that group of, she was the young one, that group of all those players, we all recognize her name, even if we never followed soccer or women's soccer. She's like the last one standing. Don't you feel like that?
She debuted in the 08 games.
Yeah.
So, it's been a great run for her, but no Alex Morgan at the Olympics. We will start getting it to our flashbacks that we always love, and I have a plethora for you today.
Oh, wait a minute. You're giving me a plethora?
You've got a plethora.
Yeah, I mean, how many days you get a plethora? I'm getting a new stadium and a plethora?
It also helps that nothing is going on in the world of sports outside of Jacksonville.
I got a stadium and a plethora on the same day.
We've got a plethora today. On this date, back in 2003, LeBron James selected with the first pick in the draft by Cleveland. I'd say that worked out pretty well.
How about that?
I've heard of him.
21 years ago.
21 years ago, LeBron. Here's the thing. We all knew about LeBron way before that draft. And it worked out pretty well.
He was on the cover of Sports Illustrated as a junior.
The chosen one. That's right. By the way, these are in no chronological order, so
is this more part of the plethora?
The plethora is on. From now basically until the end of the segment.
It's a veritable bevy of information. Okay, love it.
So my second flashback for you, but I couldn't resist. It had to be in. On this date, back in 1960, Little Debbie releases oatmeal cream pie.
No, she did not.
Yeah.
That was when it happened, huh?
Yeah.
America's never been the same.
I've never been the same.
Oh, I could put down a box of those right now.
Maybe it's its own food group.
The obesity epidemic just took off after that.
Oh, God bless Little Debbie and the oatmeal
cream
pies. Fantastic. Also on this date, back in 1988, Coming to America was released in theaters. One of the best comedies I think ever filmed.
I loved Coming to America. I'm still stuck on Little Debbie, okay? So you know that. But McDowell's.
That's right.
McDonald's has the arches.
Yeah.
McDowell's has the arcs. We had a little misunderstanding, me and the McDonald's people. God bless
Fantastic movie. The sequel was an abomination that they put out a couple years ago.
But Coming to America
But
was
if you've
really
never
funny.
seen the original Coming to America, it is hilarious.
We had a little misunderstanding, me and the McDonald's people.
That's right. And we will get you out on this musical note that is also a flashback. This week, back in 1985, The Jeffersons aired its series finale on CBS. The Jeffersons lasted 11 seasons and 253 episodes. The theme, Moving On Up, is one of the most recognized in TV history and was performed by Jeanette Dubose.
A spin-off of All in the Family.
That's right.
It really was, and it was a fantastic show, by the way. Just
It was
fantastic
awesome.
show. Great work on headlines. You don't get tired of Hays yet because you got a lot of Carlyon coming up. When we get into the second hour, you'll hear Hays interviews with Mayor Donna Deegan and Shad Khan, and his interview with Mark Lamping and Mike Weinstein. That comes up after the break. It's 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
More touchdowns, birdies, home runs, and slam dunks. More heartbreakers.
Every time you lose, you die a little bit.
And more victories. And it goes for the win! 1010XL. Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
Hurricane season is here. Protect your property from parking lot floods with Duck Duck Rooter. Our VACCON team specializes in storm drain maintenance, keeping your property safe and secure. Schedule service now. 904-862-6769.
Hey folks, this is Dave Benyon with my son Ammon here from Zero Res. Ammon, you've been cleaning air ducts for a while now. What are some of the reasons customers might consider getting their air ducts cleaned?
There are many reasons. Many times, people suffer needlessly from poor indoor air quality produced by the conditions in their air system. Construction dust, the presence of bacterial growth, and years' worth of buildup all come together to make your air ducts a pretty gross place. If you suffer from allergies, have recently moved, recently remodeled, or have never had your air ducts cleaned, then now is the best time to call. By calling Zero Res, you'll have the peace of mind of knowing that you called the best of the best. Our state-of-the-art truck mount system and top-of-the-line service representatives simply can't be found anywhere else. Google Zero Res and read thousands of 5-star reviews.
So what kind of deals can I expect?
Just mention that you heard us on the radio, and we'll give you $100 off your air duct cleaning.
Wow, that sounds like a pretty great deal. Remember, folks, Zero Res,
spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
If you need an insurance agent, I'll recommend the best guy in town, State Farm agent Craig Dewhurst. Call him at 940-9740. Really good guy, really good agent. Life insurance, homeowners, automotive, you name it, he'll handle it for you. Tell him what you need. He'll assess your whole situation. What kind of coverage do you need? How much coverage? What should your deductible be? What do you make and how does it fit your cost and your rates? You will love dealing with Craig. What a nice guy he is and how he'll help you get the right answers. The best in the business. Craig Dewhurst from State Farm, 940-9740.
This weekend is going to be intense. The Ratify Credit Union Jacksonville Axemen are bringing the pain on Saturday. No pads, no helmets, just full contact action. Get there early. The Axe Women kick off at 5. The Axemen at 7. Tickets start at $10 and kids under 12 get in free. This might be your last chance to see Rugby League this summer. Visit jacksaxe.com for tickets and game information.
Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach. Wednesday is Free Friday at 1010XL's Restaurant of the Day, John Smith Subs. Experience the thrill of the grill and get free fries with any sandwich purchase all day today. Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs on Hodges at JTB.
Hacker here coming in hot. I'm so freaking stoked right now I could do cartwheels. Well, maybe not cartwheels yet, but soon, after already shedding a jaw-dropping 70 pounds thanks to the miracle workers at Awaken 180. My doc just told me to forget the scalpel. I was scheduled this month for a procedure for a vein in my leg, but thanks to dropping the 70 pounds, I no longer needed it. He was impressed, to say the least. He hasn't ever seen a transformation like I'm having with Awaken 180 weight loss. In reality, all that extra weight was dragging me down, not just figuratively, but literally. The benefits of losing it have been nothing short of amazing. Yes, a weight loss program that works can actually be done. And most importantly, done easily. If weight's holding you back and you don't think there's a plan you can do, let me tell you, there is. 70 pounds in 3 months, guys. It's doable. So do it online at awaken180weightloss.com.
This is Molly McDonald with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. It's official, the city of Jacksonville approves the Stadium of the Future proposal that should keep the Jaguars in town for decades to come. The proposal will now proceed to NFL owners for the final stamp of approval in October. Jaguars president Mark Lamping spoke to the media on his confidence he has on the deal.
Well, there's a lot of questions, and generally the league really can't take these things up in their entirety until there's no contingencies. So we leave here tonight now with no contingencies as it relates to the stadium deal. We've obviously been keeping the league up to date throughout this entire process, and there's a lot of questions, but we're satisfied that we will be able to effectively answer those questions, and look forward to getting this finalized in mid-October.
It's 90 degrees at 5 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Ricketts Electric Wednesday on The Frangie Show. Ricketts Electric, the power connection you can trust.
It is a day of celebration. We thank our friends from Ricketts Electric. They're the best in the business. You can trust Zach and his people down there. 904-320-5960, the number for Ricketts Electric. Frangie Carlyon and LaSelva with you. You hear a lot of Hays Carlyon one-on-ones throughout football season. Well, how about a couple one-on-twos? Hays is our beat reporter at this radio station, does such a fantastic job, and he tracked down some of the principals, none more important than Mayor Donna Deegan and Jaguars owner Shad Khan.
First off, thank you guys so much. It's our pleasure and honor to be joined with the Honorable Donna Deegan, Mayor, and Jaguars owner Shad Khan. Thank you guys so much. I just want to start with my token of admiration. I was born in Jacksonville. My family is here. Never want to move, and I can't tell you how thrilled we all are to have this done. And congratulations to you. And it is a day of celebration. And so I just wanted you guys to know. And I know, obviously, Donna, you spoke, and Shad, you've been so connected here. But yeah, just what a magnificent day. What's it been like? Donna, I'll start with you, just to have this over and get it to the finish line.
Well, I think I recognize you and myself, because those of us who have been here forever and want to be here forever have such an incredible heart for this city, and we've seen it struggle, and we've seen people that have fumbled away, to use a football term, opportunities that we've had simply because we haven't taken it and been that bold new city of the South, because we have let things go too long, or argued too long, or decided we didn't want to invest enough. And I think when we came into these conversations, we both had that mutual goal of, we love this city, we want the best for this city, we want the best for the organization, we want the best for the fans, the best for the community. And that's how we approach this negotiation. And Mr. Khan has just been tremendous, not only in his investment in this city, but just in his attitude about wanting us to succeed. His whole line of never doubt Jacksonville. He had me from hello.
Yeah, we got to get it on the T-shirts, right? I mean, we got to get them out. Well, I mean, you've changed the city. I mean, that's such a remarkable human thing. I mean, you have changed the city forever.
Well, it's kind of a very humbling thing to say, but I think what I like to think is the city is changing itself, okay? And in my earlier years, before PR lessons from Jim and what have you, I would kind of speak my mind, and that thing, I had that mojo comment that kind of rubbed people the wrong way. And it was like, for me, it was like, you should have a lot more confidence, self-confidence on what a great city is, the great history it has. And, but let me be honest, there were some fundamental things here that kind of kept the city apart, okay? And I mean, it's it's a great day to celebrate, but I think the first success we have with football, and I told people this when they were asking me as late as a couple of years ago, what's the biggest accomplishment you had? And I would say getting HRO passed, okay? Because that would always fail, and it would be like, why? I mean, that's so simple. And, and that was a huge journey for someone, rightfully so. No one even talks about it today, and they shouldn't. But those were the kind of crazy things that kind of, divided people's energy, and so it just, things didn't get done, but the people are here, people like both of you who believe in the city, love the city. I mean, I run into people from Jacksonville on a street in London or in Chicago, and how excited they are about the city and what have you, and about Jacksonville. It's like, when you're in Jacksonville, that's how excited you need to be also about Jacksonville.
Absolutely, and this was a difficult putt in the sense of even beyond the Jaguars in the city. The state doesn't want to get involved, so that adds another level of difficulty, and it has to be obviously an agreement that your colleagues will support. I mean, the fact that you guys were able to do it in such a congenial fashion, I mean, it's remarkable, and it's just...
Well, it speaks obviously about the mayor, I think city council, I think Ron Salem. He's played a big role, I think, and obviously, for us, that we want to work in harmony, and our last thing we want to do is to embarrass anyone. I think if you look at this process, over the last year, there weren't leaks, there wasn't anything like that, okay? I mean, it was like everyone's working, and, like anything else, I mean, you have difference of opinions, whatever, and, you kind of work to bridge them.
How much are you guys individually looking forward to getting in front of the fans and having that engagement with them? Is now, this moves ahead, and, we start...
Donna's probably going to be mayor for life.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. but I will be a Jaguar fan for a while.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I'm looking forward to spending a lot of time in that beautiful stadium.
But I mean, isn't that incredible? I mean, you'll have people coming up to you decades from now, thanking you for this moment today.
I really, I'm amazed at what I have the opportunity to do. I'm so grateful to be the mayor at this time in history, to have the opportunity to do this. It's something that I'll never forget. It'll always be that exclamation point. It's a bucket list thing for sure.
I didn't know you were architectural buff. What are some aspects of the design that have you particularly excited about?
Well, I mean, how much time do you got?
All the time that you have.
Well, it's like, the biggest thing is you want to have the ultimate stadium, okay, which is going to be timeless, okay, which is responsible in every way. You don't compromise the fan experience. Aesthetically, you look at it and you say, that's Jacksonville, okay? There are certain symbols, I use Eiffel Tower as an example, okay, that you look at it and you say, oh, that's Paris. I mean, it could be 100 different European cities if you didn't look at that. So I think you start with, it's got to be a symbol like that, and yet, we want the most bang for the buck for everyone. We want it to be very efficient. There are parts we want to reuse, and because why? Typically what happens is, you just build a new stadium, and it's tremendous waste of money, and a lot of times it's not as good, certain aspects that were there before. So I think, I could go on and on. It's environmentally very friendly. The fan experience is going to be over the top. It'll age very well, which is it won't age. It'll be relevant. And most importantly, it'll be an asset for the community.
Do you have a good sense that the other owners are going to be excited about this? Have you gotten any sort of text from?
I'm optimistic. Yeah. I'm optimistic. I think the most important thing here is what we want to do. You can't get sidetracked on what one person says or two people say. And we have to decide what's the right thing for the city of Jacksonville and the Jaguars. And from day one, I told the mayor, I told the city council, they have to do the right thing for the city. We're going to do the right thing for the Jaguars, and I'm confident they will meet. And there is a sweet spot that's going to work for us.
My kids turned 16 and 14 this summer, and I just can't thank you both enough. I know you're thrilled, and we all are too. And thank you guys so much. This is such a wonderful day.
I never like to wish life away, but I can't wait to get in that new city.
I know. Can you picture what it's going to be like when you go through it for the first time? I mean, it is going to be, and it'll be here before you know it.
Yeah, it'll be here, and I think the feel, it's going to be, there's not going to be a feel, and I think you have to think about Instagrammable moments and pictures and all those. I mean, that's the future, and how would it reflect and all of those kind of things, and the experience coming there. And we certainly, I've gone through it mentally, and but your kids are really the future of the Jaguars. I mean, historically, the Jaguars missed on a generation, and that was part of some of the challenges we had, and to overcome it. But our fans, if you saw that, now represent modern Jacksonville. Okay, I mean, I used to use the example playoff. In the early days of the Jaguars, a game would be a bunch of white guys in suits. Okay, bankers very stiff, and 6 years ago when we were in the playoff, USA Today ran a spread on the fans, and it black, white, brown, body piercing tattoos, all of that. That's what modern Jacksonville is.
Duval, absolutely.
That's the hardcore fan base, which is young, and
it's the power of football, like you've said before. I mean, power of football. It's extraordinary. Well, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate your time, Mayor Donna Deegan, Jaguars owner Shad Khan. Thank you so much, and once again, congratulations.
Thank you.
Marvelous achievement.
Thank you.
10-10
Take.
Frangie's 10-10 Take is brought to you by Duval Charter School at Bay Meadows K-12, a tuition-free A-rated school. Enroll now at baymeadowscharter.org.
Take's pretty easy today. Don't ever lose sight of how important it is to have a good owner, an owner that will spend money, an owner that is committed to your town, it's committed to your city, and can work comfortably with others. One thing I've learned about Shad Khan is there's a reason he had such a great relationship with Lenny Curry and now with Donna Deegan. There's a reason that all those other owners like this cat so much. There's a reason he's been so amazingly successful in life and in business. He's a good guy that knows how to build and develop relationships for the better good of all and the betterment of all, and that's what's happened here. Thank you, Shad, for being the owner of this football team and for vowing to now keep this team here for another 30 years. And by the way, there's a chance that Shad's in his 70s. There's a chance that neither Shad nor I will be here when this is ever discussed again, but I hope we both are. We're lucky to have Shad Khan. Great interview, by the way, Hays. I thought you did a great job. It had to be neat being with the two of them today, just you guys in that room talking about everything that happened.
It's honestly, it's emotional. I mean, because being from here, growing up here, and always being a sports fan, and these are the two people that made it happen.
And I heard that in your voice in the interview. Very well done. We'll take a break. One more interview coming up after the break. Hays has Mark Lamping and Mike Weinstein to talk about their role in this momentous day. That's next. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show. From the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
More Jaguars, more prep sports, more Gators, more Knowles, more Dogs, more golf. Plus original podcasts from your favorite 1010XL personalities. 1010XL.com.
Hey Jacksonville, Lauren Brooks here from Helmets and Heels for Big Chief Tire. For over 60 years, Big Chief has been known for fair prices and quality service you can trust. Whether you drive an electric vehicle or a traditional car, they carry the best tire brands to keep you safe on the road. If you're ready to experience great service without breaking the bank, visit BigChiefTire.com or call 904-932-0950 to schedule an appointment at any of their 5 locations. 904-932-0950.
Hey, sports fans, this is Hays Carlyon from MyBookie. Look, we've all been there before. A weekend trip to the casino canceled because real life came calling. Well, MyBookie's new and improved online casino is here to change the game. Dive into a truly realistic casino experience featuring the latest in slots, progressive jackpots, and live dealer action, all from the comfort of your home. The MyBookie Casino provides a Las Vegas experience when the action is in your hands. The roulette is awesome. It's easy. It's so much fun. I can't tell you enough. You need to try it if you haven't already. Start at MyBookie today with a generous sign-up bonus using promo code 1010XL and a revamped loyalty program that ensures a host of exclusive VIP perks. Don't miss out on the revamped MyBookie Casino. Use promo code 1010XL. The more you play, the more you win. Only with MyBookie.
Get this thing unwrapped here.
Praz, what in the world are you doing working on your Duval?
That's right, man. I really identify with Duval.
You live in St. Johns County, knucklehead.
I mean the Duval sub, the Dailies Dash Duval. Turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheeses. Lettuce, tomato, crispy and fresh, you know, like me. I'm sure there's a Dailies Dash sub that sums you up.
The boss.
Because, of course.
Oven roasted beef, Munster cheese, roasted mushrooms, caramelized onions. It's the boss of all subs. Only available for me.
That's just not true.
What do you mean? I walked in the other day, screamed, "You know it!" and said, "A boss for a boss."
Well, no matter who you are, there is a Dailies Dash sandwich or sub for you.
Go find yours. They may even make you a boss.
I'm sure they will, because it is Dailies Dash.
Where more is better.
And you got that right.
How nice would it be not to worry about your AC unit for 10 years? What? Vaughn's Heating and Air, standing by their units for 10 years. Imagine not having to think about your AC unit for a decade. Vaughn's 10-year warranty covers the parts, labor, and refrigerant. Basically everything. No fictional problems that will cost thousands. This is legit. An AC unit with no repair costs. Wouldn't that be nice? So remember, if your AC unit won't turn on, just call Vaughn's. That's Vaughn's Heating and Air.
Baloo for Shinatri Chiropractic. They've helped me get rid of my headaches and pain in my neck and back. Are you suffering from an auto accident? What about TMJ pain? Headaches associated with jaw clenching, grinding of the teeth, or stress-related disorders? Shinatri Chiropractic has a physical therapist on staff for rehabilitation, quality chiropractic care, dry needling, massage, and acupuncture. Call 743-6700 or go to ShinatriDC.com.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialist is now offering ortho walk-in appointments. If you have an immediate need for orthopedic care, contact Southeast Orthopedic Specialist immediately. Avoid ERs and urgent care waiting rooms. For more information, go to se-ortho.com.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
1010XL keeps you company with sports takes and local talk.
Well, then that's exactly what we'll do.
Saturday from noon to 2.
Got any ideas who this mystery man might be?
It's Compton and Company.
What if word about this gets out?
On 1010XL, Jacksonville Sports Radio.
3 bands. 1 stadium. Def Leppard. Journey. Cheap Trick. Together. 3 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame icons. Their biggest hits, July 10th, Camping World Stadium. Tickets on sale now at DefLeppardJourney2024.com.
Your Jaguars game day, your way. Whether you want to see a division rival like the Titans, an NFC North opponent like the Packers, or a mix, deciding on your favorite matchups has never been easier with Bundle at the Bank.
Touchdown, Travis Etienne.
Get tickets to 3 or more games starting at just $58 per game. It's as easy as pick, pay, and play. But seats are selling fast, so visit jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000.
Did you know a metal roof from Prime Roofing has the highest wind and impact ratings available? If you want a stronger roof, think metal. Think Prime Roofing. Learn more at primeroofingfl.com. That's primeroofingfl.com.
Wondering what you're going to do for dinner tonight? Southern Steer Butcher is a full-service butcher that offers take-and-bake side options that are oven-ready.
Now open in Ortega. For tasty tips and juicy breasts, choose Southern Steer Butcher.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Ricketts Electric Wednesday on The Frangie Show. Ricketts Electric, the power connection you can trust.
Frank Frangie, Hays Carlyon, JJ LaSelva with you as we zip along on this Ricketts Wednesday, Ricketts Electric Wednesday. A moment ago, you heard Hays, one-on-two interview, if you will, with Shad Khan and Mayor Donna Deegan. Moments after that, he had another one-on-two. This is Hays Carlyon with Mark Lamping
and Mike
Weinstein earlier today.
We are pleased to be joined with Jaguars President Mark Lamping and the city's top negotiator, Mike Weinstein. Thank you, gentlemen, so much. I'm just going to start off. I'm born here. I've always lived in Jacksonville or Gainesville or St. Augustine. And I just want to express my admiration for you guys and getting this done. And I can't thank you enough for it. And I know thousands of people feel the same way. So thank you guys so much for your part in this. And it's one of the most exciting times in our city's history. So it's got to be a tremendous thrill for you both.
Yeah. Well, it is, but you can't lose sight of, for a project of this magnitude to go forward, it takes somebody who really believes in the future of Jacksonville. And in that case, that person exists in Shad Khan and his family. So none of this is possible without the commitment and the investment from Shad and his family.
And Mike, and you obviously have great roots here. What was it like for you to be a part of this and see it get successfully across the goal line?
Well, I was very blessed that the mayor had asked me to take this on and be part of the team. And right from the beginning, it was a marvelous process. Both the Jaguars and the city basically wanted to get to where we are today. And because of that, each side was more than willing to give and take as we went through it. And I feel that the agreement is quite fair. Jaguars were very interested in their fans and the people that live here to feel that it was fair, as we were for the taxpayers and what have you. It was a very different process than 30 years ago. So I was very pleased to have been a part of it, and very thankful for Mark and Shad for being as open to ideas as they have been.
And this is a difficult putt. The state does not help in this at all. What kind of challenge does that present, just starting there, before Mark can talk about getting the league on board with the plan and everything like that?
Well, because we're so fortunate to be in Florida and have so many different professional teams, the state wasn't willing to or able to participate. They did in the first round. They did provide $2 million a year for 30 years, but that was to get the team. But they don't help with renovations or new stadiums. But the Jaguars knew that the size of the market and the inability to bring others to the table, and I think that's why they started in such a way that we're able to move as quickly as we did. They didn't look at us like we were Dallas or New York or LA. They understood our constraints from the beginning, and it really made it a much easier process.
Mark, in terms of the transparency was remarkable. I mean, the fan surveys to 2 summers worth of town halls. How satisfying is it from your perspective to know that any citizen that had a concern was able to have multiple opportunities to express that and what they wanted to see with the stadium of the future?
I think that was really important. I think one of the results is the fact that we did have a very orderly process. It didn't go as fast as some others have, but it was very orderly from start to finish. And not to not to be complimenting you, but your station speaks to sports fans every single day, and you spend a lot of time providing a platform for us to explain the project and to be able to answer questions. So for that, thank you, and you should feel you were part of this process as well.
Well, I appreciate that, and it's the most wonderful news that really it really is. It's incredible. My kids are 16 and 14, and to think that they're going to be, in their late 40s, at the end of this thing, it's remarkable. And it's just it's such a day of celebration. What will be something that you guys do? Mike, I'll start with you. How did you celebrate the? I know that we have the NFL owners and things like that, but what was something you did to celebrate with your family?
I'm not a big celebrator, and I know Mark knows that my family had gone on the family vacation without me a couple of weeks ago because I had to stay here, and it's kind of unique to have been in it day in, day out. Then to hear the mayor and how she felt when we first got the team and how she feels today and how others feel. It's a very different feeling when you lived it day in, day out. It's not a big crescendo at the end because you got there in very small bites to get there. So I'm pleased, but I got to figure out what's to do next. That's my challenge.
Now, obviously, the owners will vote in October. You guys have, I'm sure, been very transparent also with them in terms of what they're looking for. How will that process go? And I know there'll be some things you got to work through, but high level of confidence that you'll get the 24?
Well, the league can now begin in earnest its review because they generally don't like to waste a lot of time on things that may or may not happen. So after last night, we have a deal. The league has been kept up to speed as we've gone through this process. And keep in mind, this isn't the first stadium that has gone in front of NFL owners. So we've been on the other side many, many times. Shad evaluating what other teams want to do and deciding whether he wants to support it or not. So we have a very good idea of what other teams will be looking at to determine whether they choose to support it or not. We obviously have received a lot of questions, also a lot of comments and a lot of compliments as we've gone through the process. And we're certainly confident that we have one more hurdle to clear, but we're confident we'll clear it in mid-October.
What's it going to be like for you in 2028 when walking through it for the first, significant event, whether that's a Jaguars game, a concert, whatever the first event ends up being? I
have to tell you, I agree with Mike. People would ask me, well, you must be, ready to celebrate. And it's like, this is, Mike's gone through a lot. He's only been in it for 1 year. We've been through it for 4 years. So it's almost like when you study for your final exams in college, okay? And then you can't wait, and you say, well, I'm going to celebrate as soon as I'm done. And then after you get done, you're so exhausted that it's not exactly what you thought it was going to be. But no, there's a lot to celebrate. But then we have the reality of we have a major construction project ahead of us, which carries with it a large level of responsibility to the city, to our fans. And and if not managed properly, can create a lot of risk. So, we have to turn very quickly from putting the deal together to actually executing the project.
What are some aspects of the architecture that particularly excite you?
Well, first, I'm excited that Shad is excited about it. My reaction is more in terms of how it's going to improve the experience of our fans. So getting shade on 100% of the seats was an absolute requirement. The fact that we will be able to lower the temperature in the seating bowl. The concourses will be significantly wider. We will be opening up the corners of the stadium to provide beautiful views of downtown, the St. Johns River, and to the out east neighborhood. The fact that it will have an iconic look to it, the fact that it will become an architectural statement and something that Jacksonville is known for in much the same way the Sydney Opera House sort of defines Sydney.
Mark Lamping, Mike Weinstein, thank you guys so much for your time. Can't thank you enough. And once again, congratulations on doing something absolutely spectacular for this great city.
Thank you.
I really enjoyed meeting with them. And I do want to say this about Mark Lamping. This is important because we're always going to remember Shad Khan. We're always going to remember Mayor Deegan. Mayors are remembered forever. Obviously, if you own the Jaguars, you're going to be remembered forever. history needs to remember Mark Lamping, and that is going to be our charge. And it's the charge of the young reporters as well that were in that room today. What Mark Lamping has done, and Frank, you've talked very eloquently about the rock star that Mark Lamping has been for the Jaguars and for the city. But his impact on Jacksonville is immense. And 25, 30 years from now, we need to remember the impact that Mark Lamping has had. And my hope is that we will.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. The impact that he's had on Jacksonville sports. And again, the two owners have been magnificent, Wayne Weaver and Shad Khan. They're 1 and 2 in whatever order you want to put them in. There's been other great Jaguars, Coughlin and Baselli and all the players. And there's other great things that have happened in Jacksonville. The touchdown Jacksonville people that got the team here. The great moments of JU basketball and Artis Gilmore. But Mark Lamping is on the list of people that have had just a gigantic impact. Of all the great things Shad Khan did, hiring Mark Lamping was high on that dang list, boy. It really was. So, and he's the guy that made this happen. So, he's off to a fun family vacation. I hope he has a wonderful time. He said, let's told everybody last night, he was leaving today. Well, you know what? He is leaving today. I talked to him. He's leaving today. I mean, he wasn't lying about that. He's leaving today. So a magnificent day here for all of us in Jacksonville. We'll talk more about it. By the way, tomorrow we'll do a shout about this. Give you a chance. We want everybody to weigh in. Did you like it? Did you not? All your opinions. We'll take them all, by the way. Just some good, solid, honest opinions on what you think about this deal. We couldn't do it today because we had all the stuff. We didn't want to. weren't really wanting to run the interviews until now. While we have another 3 or 4 minutes in this segment, you also had some time with Shad Khan.
Correct.
After all this, where he just met with members of the media. What were some of the high points of that?
It was really interesting. It's because it had been some time, so there was a lot of ground to cover, and his expectation now is that this team should regularly make the playoffs. He talked about how much it still stings him, how last season went, that they've done a lot of self-reflection on it. But he is very confident. He believes they've really upgraded both lines. It was interesting hearing him talk about Doug and Trent. They're under contract through 2025. So a couple years for both. And it was interesting. He was asked about the play calling and the kind of vibe that he gave was one that he would like to see Doug do it. So it was really interesting hearing him talk about the football aspects of the team. And it was very enjoyable. It was probably 20 minutes, and he is obviously. It took a while. By his own admission, it took a while for him to kind of figure out what the league was all about. And now, because of some good fortune in terms of having the number 1 pick in a year that Trevor Lawrence is available in the draft, and just by their own experiences, they've got something going now. We'll see what it is. But I do think the floor for the next 3 or 4 years for the Jaguars is like somewhere in the 7 to 9 win a year range. I mean, I don't think that there's really any chance, barring just crazy injury misfortune, that this team is talked about as one of the worst ones. I mean, it really does seem like everything is in alignment. You got your quarterback, you've got 2 outstanding pass rushers. It looks like you're going to pay your top young corner. They've got so many young players on rookie contracts. You do have a coach and GM that have done some big things in the league. So the expectation is to win, and he was very clear about that. There's not going to be excuses. The expectation is to win consistently, and to hopefully one day bring the Lombardi back to Jacksonville.
Yeah, he's very excited. Again, the trajectory of this team, this franchise, is very good on all fronts, and that hasn't always been the case. Everybody wants to believe it is, but it really is where this franchise is. So, anything else of note that stood out from him? Any details?
He talked about London, and London will always be very critical, I think, to the franchise. So I would expect a London presence to be something that continues. I don't think that's really breaking news, but he emphasized that as well today, and again, just saying that, we've had struggles, but in terms of having the franchise quarterback and the other things that the Jaguars have going for him, he said it's very comforting, and frankly, other teams are envious of it.
Yeah, and I think Jacksonville is in a very good place. I can't think of anything, because the stadium deal came up this year, because the Trevor contract came up this year, because they knew they were close a year ago, faded down the stretch, and now have rebuilt their roster. I say rebuilt, retooled their roster in some areas. Yeah, I can't imagine the trajectory could be a whole lot better. JJ, we got some tickets to give away in there. What do you got?
We do. I have a family 4 packets of tickets to the Jacksonville Axemen rugby game this Saturday, the 29th, at North Rugby Fields at UNF. Visit jacksax.com for more information.
How about caller 3? Does that sound good?
Let's do it.
Caller 3, 641-1010. You're going to see the Axemen. We'll take a break. One segment to go. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Brent Musburger's Action Update, brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
With the NBA draft taking place on Wednesday night, possible future MVPs. But who is the betting favorite to be the MVP in the league next season? That is Nikola Jokic of the Denver Nuggets. The current reigning MVP is plus 340 to capture the award for the 4th time in his career. Dallas Mavericks' Luka Doncic is plus 380. Oklahoma City's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander plus 550. Giannis Antetokounmpo of the Milwaukee Bucks is also plus 550 to win the MVP next season. Joel Embiid plus 600. And Anthony Edwards plus 1,400. This update brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1010XL.
Did you know Duck Duck Rooter is the area's go-to plumber? A 5-star Google-rated company, Duck Duck Rooter can take care of all of your plumbing repairs and upgrades. Need to switch from septic over to city sewer? Call the Duck. How about water heater repairs and replacement? You're just a duck away, or call away, for Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing and Septic Services.
When you're stuck, call the Duck. 904-862-6769.
Frank Frangie here. Bono's Pit Barbecue is celebrating 75 years of serving up legendary barbecue on the First Coast. And right now, get to Bono's for the new loaded barbecue tater tots. That's smoked pulled pork on top of tater tots with melted cheddar cheese sauce. You won't find this anywhere else. 18 Bono's around town. There's always one nearby, and you can see all the locations at bonosbarbecue.com. Remember, the Bono's Barbecue Tater Tots right now at Bono's. And if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Hey everybody, Mike Dempsey here. Did you take Awaken 180 up on dropping 40 pounds by the 4th of July? If you did, next week you'll reach that goal, so congrats. And if you didn't call Awaken 180, why not do it now? Fast weight loss, easy weight loss, and then free support for life.
Are you annoyingly inattentive? Do you watch a movie and then ask a zillion questions because you weren't paying attention? Do people ask, how do you sleep at night? Then you should get a mattress from Mattress Firm. They can help anyone sleep. Head to Mattress Firm's July 4th sale and get a king bed for a queen price. Save up to $700 plus a free adjustable base with select Sealy mattresses. All with free and fast delivery. Get matched at Mattress Firm. Sleep at night. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
Facing a DUI charge or even a boating under the influence charge? Well, I'm your man, DUI lawyer Malcolm Anthony at 285-4LAW. 285-4LAW. Once again, 285-4LAW.
Get recruiting tips and advice from area coaches, pros, athletes, and their parents. Plus better ways to train as B3 bettors Jerry and Sanders and A.D. Robbins host the Amateur's Edge Show. Saturday from 11 to noon on 1010XL.
Jumbo Shrimp Baseball presented by FIS is home all week at 1-to-1 Financial Ballpark. Tomorrow is Coors Light Thirsty Thursday, then it's Red Shirt Friday with fireworks, and the first 2,000 fans on Saturday get a free hat, plus more fireworks courtesy of the Maxwell House. Our biggest fireworks show of the year is set for Wednesday, July 3rd. Tickets start at just $5. jackshrimp.com for tickets. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball. Affordable family fun.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwoods. Clayton, Underwoods has sold fine quality diamonds for a long time. Why is that important?
Frank, if you drew a line with the poorest diamonds with the lowest prices to the left and the highest quality to the right, our diamonds are at the far right end. Now, once we know the weight, the grading factors of cut, color, and clarity have to be considered. And the one that's talked about the least, but it's the most important to us, is the diamond's cut grade, because it has a huge implication on both the price and the beauty, and thus the value. I've bought diamonds for Underwoods for over 30 years, so I know what's out there, and the cut grade's just not important to most diamond sellers. That's really been the Underwood difference, because beautifully cut diamonds result in the most important thing they can do. They bring a joy of owning and wearing a diamond, not just today, but tomorrow and into the future. That's why it's important to us.
And it should be to you too, because nothing brings more joy than a diamond from Underwoods in San Marco, Avondale, and the shops of Ponte Vedra since 1928.
Calling all disc golf enthusiasts. Play It Again Sports Jacksonville wants your used discs. Now through June 29th, earn cash on the spot plus $5 in sports bucks for every $25 of disc golf gear we buy. Play It Again Sports also stocks new discs from your favorite brands like Innova, Discraft, Discmania, and more. Stop in today and shop our huge selection. Merrill Road near 295 in the Merrill Station Shopping Plaza or online at playitagainjacks.com.
Does the building you go to work in every day need a little love and attention? Jason Parker here with Performance Painting. Great companies take great care of the buildings their staff and customers walk into every day. If the building you're in doesn't match the vision you have for your company, we can help. Go to performance-painting.com. Our highly trained team makes the difference. Quality coatings applied with pride.
Performance Painting. Kicking here with Zero Res. If you're like me, you like to sit on the sofa and recliners and watch a good game or show. You know, unwind down from the day. But sometimes TV time means food, drink, and a mess as well. That's why you need to have the Zero Res truck out and get that furniture looking great again. All of June, Zero Res offering 25% off all upholstery cleaning, 25% off a sectional, off a sofa, 25% off a love seat, 25% off your favorite recliner. Zero Res, man. You spell it forward, you spell it backwards. Zero Res. It's the right way to clean.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. You know, pool design has come a long way, and if your pool is outdated, Stanley Pools specializes in bringing older pools up to date for the whole family to enjoy. That's why I did it a few years ago, and man, I love the way my pool looks now after we added travertine pavers and so much else. Stanley Pools has been serving our community since 1988, so call them today at 269-7277 or find them online at stanleypoolsfl.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555, Jacksonville. Now, the Cool Down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Keeping Jack's cool since 1987.
The cool down, we kind of recap what we've done over the course of the day. I don't know, Hays, maybe we've talked about a stadium deal. We thought that we started the program with Ron Salem, the city council president, joined the program, and he told me a lot of reasons why it was important to him, how they got through it, some of the details of the CBA, and a whole lot more. That started the program. After that, Hays had one-on-two conversations, first with Shad Khan and Donna Deegan, then with Mark Lamping and Mike Weinstein. Did a terrific job with all of those. We certainly talked a great deal today. Most of the program today was all about the stadium, the new stadium, the stadium of the future that the Jacksonville Jaguars will play in 2028. That is our cool down, and that was an awful lot of fun. So what a show this has been. Tomorrow now, we will do a shout, and we'll talk more about this. We want to know what you think about it. May even do it earlier, a little earlier in the show. We'll see if we do that or not tomorrow on the program. Two things tomorrow. We'll talk golf. Lee Smith will be by, as he always is on a Thursday, and we're going to do sports in courts. Ask Brett Hastings to back it up a day. He's got a fun topic we'll get to tomorrow about liability. When you play a neutral site game, when you play a game or when you play not in Jacksonville if you're the Jaguars, or not in Gainesville if you're the Gators, who has a liability? How does that work? So there's a lot of interesting legalities.
That is.
When you're not playing a game in Jacksonville if you're the Jags, or the Gainesville if you're the Gators, or whoever. So we'll certainly talk about that. So a lot of fun stuff coming up on the show. So we'll be loaded up tomorrow. And you're hitting the road, huh?
Getting close.
Is it true?
Yeah.
I heard the word on the street, confirm or deny, that you're going to both the Turks and Keiko?
That's right. Apparently, they couldn't decide on the name.
So you're going to get them into both. You're going to squeeze them both into one trip.
I can tell you the translation if you'd like, because I'm starting to do my homework on where I'm going.
No, you can't.
Yes.
Give me
Pirate Island.
Look at you.
Is apparently what Turks and Caicos is.
See, I've always said nobody's more studious than you when it comes to your travel.
I'm going to know the ins and outs of their legal system before I set foot in any country.
Well, having parties.
I always study the laws before I go, anyways. Just so I make sure I'm not doing anything too terrible.
Having hung with Hays as much as I have, make sure you have Holt's number, all of the numbers that you'll need. So make sure you have that. So that'll be a lot of fun. You'll be gone Friday through the following week, right?
That's right. Yeah, looking forward to it. Me and Gene are heading to Turks and Caicos, so it should be a great time. And hopefully, I do not get stage 4 melanoma. Because
that'd be
invest in sunscreen.
Yeah, you're a big
sunscreen probably guy. Won't come back. Right. Just so we were clear, so for your planning. I probably won't make it from a health standpoint. But invest in sunscreen, and your dividend will be quite healthy.
Yeah, and I've already planned for you not to come back. I mean, listen, there's a draft. We've drafted. They say every good athletic director has in his pocket 3 or 4 successors.
Has the list.
Well, every good talk show host has a bunch of guys co-hosts in his pocket. I got a bunch of them. Okay. Are you kidding me? I'm calling Ackerman right away.
Right. Yeah.
All right. The first call I'm making, calling Ackerman. So there is that. So I know it's been a historic day. It's been an awful lot of fun day. It's been a lot of fun. JJ, you and I were just talking about. We haven't talked a lot of baseball because there's been too much other stuff. Paul Skeens makes his first trip to Atlanta over the weekend.
Yeah, both of our teams got wins today.
Yeah.
So I think that deserves a shout out. We play again later tonight. But yes, the Braves and the Pirates in Atlanta this weekend. We have a matchup of the greats. I would consider Paul Skeen a great in the league right now, even though he's got 6 starts or something. But Paul Skeens versus Max Fried Saturday, 4 p.m. I'll be in front of my couch.
He's got 8 starts, and his ERA is
on my couch.
It's 2.14.
Wow.
I mean, he would have?
Will he be rookie of the year if this continues? Will it be
probably?
I don't see how he cannot be.
Okay.
I mean, if he qualified among starting pitchers, he'd be only second in the National League to Ranger Suarez, who's unreal. He's the Phillies guy. What is he? What is his 1.7 something?
Reynaldo Lopez for the Braves has really, really low ERA. Okay. I don't know why he's not on that list. Maybe innings pitched or something, but he's up there too. But he'd probably be top 5.
Yeah, so it's pretty amazing stuff. So I can't imagine it won't be. We'll talk some more baseball coming up as we move on. It's kind of hard to believe. I was thinking about this. Your vacation's next week. Susanna and I are heading to Cape Cod the week after.
Mm-hmm.
And then before we get back, it's SEC Media Days. Because when SEC Media Days gets here, it's on.
Correct.
For football season, for me, because SEC is before ACC, and they're both right at the beginning of camp. So when you get on that, now it's in Dallas. By the way, it should not be in Dallas. Dallas is not an SEC haunt. The SEC Media Days were always in Birmingham, and probably should have never left. But I can live with Atlanta, and I love Nashville. But that's it. The SEC Media Days should never be in Dallas. They ever should never. And I love Dallas.
Right.
But that's not where you put the SEC Media Days. So,
and this will probably be a one-off.
I would think.
What did you say Skeens' ERA is?
2.14.
Well, he'd be 3rd in baseball if he qualified.
Yeah, 2.
So that's good. Yeah. That's quite a rookie of the year.
Ranger Suarez is first.
Lopez, JJ mentioned, is qualified.
Okay.
He's at 1.70.
Oh, wow.
And then Suarez is 2.01.
Okay. So he's still, wow, I didn't realize Lopez was that good. But so 3rd.
He's been really close. I don't expect him to stay there all year. I mean, Reynaldo Lopez with an ERA under 2, I expect that to change, but he's been just phenomenal this year.
Skeens would be 3rd. It's 3rd in all of baseball. If he and by the way, it's not going to jump. He may have a bad game here or there. But it's not. You're not going to look up, and it's going to be 5. Okay, so it's pretty amazing stuff. But really, football season. If you think about it, we were thinking about this. SEC Media Days is like the 17th of July, which is in 2-3 weeks, and then and that starts football season. So from that day until they play a Super Bowl,
we've got football.
It's football. It's really 6. Is it 6 or 7 full months?
August, September, October, it's probably like December, 7.
January. It's 7. It's 7 full months. If you go the first day of SEC Media Days, which is on a Monday, till the Super Bowl, which is on a Sunday, it's 7 months. 7 months.
Yeah.
And that 7 months is about to start.
And even the Jags training camp is a little earlier than normal. I don't remember it ever being as early as July 23rd.
Yeah.
It feels like it's usually like the 26th.
Yeah.
So it's a few days. But, hey, I'll gladly take a few days earlier.
Absolutely. And I do believe, I'll say what I told you the other day, I'll say it again. I firmly believe that not by next year, but by the 2026 season, we will have an 18-game regular season with 2 preseason games. I don't think there will continue to be talk about it. I think in this offseason, there will be murmurs about doing it next year, but it'll be too fast. It won't get past next year. I think 2026, 18-2. And that'll be very interesting. Two preseason games. I mean, think about that.
Oh yeah.
And that's how they should do it. They really should.
Yeah, it's where the league needs to move to, and I think they realize it. So the fact that Roger Goodell talks so openly about it tells you that they're very close to executing it. So I would expect your timeline to line up.
Folks, that's our program. No going anywhere. Rick Ballew's up next. Right now, a historic day in Jacksonville. Hope you've enjoyed listening to interviews and talk all about the stadium of the future. We're out here. For Hays and JJ, I'm Frank Frangie.